KevinJJohnston here. It is 6-something p.m. on Thursday. I'm in the jungle, as you can tell. I'm sitting on the balcony, which is small, but absolutely big enough for me and for a couple of others. So I want to say thank you. Last night was my first live in about a month on Instagram because I had a suspension. I greatly appreciate all of you stopping by. And I certainly appreciate all of you coming by freedomreport.ca because last night's real estate show was our biggest one yet. And I've got all of you to thank. Cheers to all of you. So I've got about half an hour right now to chat with you. I'm going live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time on freedomreport.ca. It's the political show. We're going to be talking about electric cars. Are they good? Are they not good? We'll be talking about the electrical grid tonight. Can the grid handle it? We're going to talk about all that. And we're having a guest back from last year to talk about it. One that all of you absolutely adored. So we brought him back. Big surprise. I'm not announcing who's coming to join us again. But just check out the show at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's every Tuesday and Thursday. freedomreport.ca. Alrighty. Any questions that you have about Costa Rica, I'll certainly take them now. I know I couldn't get to all of you last night, so if anybody has questions, I certainly will like to answer all those. Now, everyone's asking me, how do I get my wealth moved to Costa Rica? The best way, the most legal way, the one that gets it done the fastest out of all of them is to buy a house. Doesn't matter, big, small, medium size, doesn't matter what the value is. What we do is you put an offer down on a house, we present the offer to the seller or the builder, and if they accept the offer, which in most cases they will, then what we need to do is get your bank account registered at that point specifically for the purposes of buying property. And then what you do is you only transfer the down payment that's required. Some houses, 15%, some is 25%, some is 50%, depending on how you're going to be taking care of it. Because some people, they want to buy the house cash outright, which is great because then your living expenses are less than $7,000 US a year in almost every city. And some folks want to finance by putting 50% down and utilizing a private lender. But after you get the deposit done on the house, when it comes to the closing date of the property, then you transfer everything you have into that bank account because it's yours. You're a property owner in Costa Rica, and there's nothing that they can and will do to stop you. Banking law in Costa Rica is highly in favor of you, the customer, as opposed to the bank, very much opposite Canada. And the banks here and the private lenders here, they follow a bit of the American model where they loan capital. Canada's banking system is not about loaning capital. It's about asset-based loans only, which drives me crazy because the Canadian dollar has no value. It's completely fiat. And if you want to get a loan or a line of credit in Canada, typically what you do is go to a bank somewhere in the country. Nobody speaks English. Nobody's born in Canada. Nobody knows what the nuances of language are. They know nothing about commerce or finance or anything else. What they do is they read a script. So I sat down with this one woman. I have no idea where she was from. I said, yeah, I'd like a line of credit. Okay, what are your assets? And I immediately said, are you the one I spoke to on the phone? Oh, yes, I am the one. I said, I already presented you my asset. So what I was doing is I had a radio contract that was worth $1.4 million. All I was asking for was $250,000 as a line of credit against the contract, which they could have taken and sold for maybe $400,000 and made a profit on that thing. Everything was agreed upon. I had everything in writing from the bank. I just had to go down and sign for it. And this stupid child, 24, 25 years old, who obviously did not understand anything I was saying on the phone, is now telling me, oh, we don't do that. So I said, get your manager. I showed them the contract that we had signed. I played the phone calls for them. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, we don't do that. It has to be a hard asset. See, like, what's better than a $1.4 million contract? I mean, at the time, the house I had was only worth about $600,000. I said, the contract's worth more than the house, by double, and then some. And the manager, who also didn't speak English, had no idea what I was talking about. Oh, no, we don't buy radio. What do you mean you don't buy radio? Oh, no, we don't. We have a radio. She was trying to tell me she had a radio in her office and that she thought I was trying to sell her radios. You know, that's Canada's system. You want to know why I've left? Because even here in Costa Rica, if I had a Spanish translator, that level of stupidity and ignorance to the world around you would not exist. Because in Costa Rica, like many countries except Canada, they actually want to make money here. So I've had to deal with that kind of nonsense forever. So I've been talking to a couple of American financiers, and they're saying that, yeah, they would love to have $1.4 million radio contracts. They could turn those into cash in an afternoon. And I was even suggesting to one, I said, look, what if I was to bring a $1.4 million advertising contract to you that's Canada-wide, and take a loan of $500,000 and then call you and say, you know what, I'm going to default on this. And he'd say, we would immediately sell the contract and dig your credit. That's all he said. Right, that's it. So the Americans are all about the value of the deal that's being made, not the value of the home that you own before you go talk to the retards that work in these banks. I always had a belt whacked over my head and over my ass when I was a kid. Grammar, spelling, grammar, spelling, learn English, the King's English. I'm glad I did. Man, am I glad I did. My vocabulary is over 100,000 words. And I figure if I had to become a master of the English language to be able to communicate every idea in here to the public, including the stupid, to get them to understand me, then obviously that's to my advantage. But being a master of English in Canada, it's pointless. Because nobody who's in a position to serve you in any particular way, nobody who's in a position to better your life in any particular way, has mastered English. They don't speak English. Now, the ones who do, it's incredibly broken. But they don't get the culture. They are completely culturally illiterate. So if you talk about Bugs Bunny or Yosemite Sam, or you make a reference to the 69 Maple Leafs or whatever you're talking about, they have no idea what you're talking about. You know, hockey, cartoons, billiards, bowling, skating down at the park. None of this stuff means a damn thing to foreigners, especially foreigners from hot countries. Especially foreigners from hot countries where nobody speaks English and the ideologies are that where they want to destroy us. So if you're asking why did I leave Canada, like the banking is just one of many reasons. Now, the other thing here is I've often been told that I can't say that in Canada. Well, yeah, I can. I can say that in Canada, and I have said that in Canada, and I've been scolded by judges and justices of the peace across the country telling me that I need to be more patient. No, I don't. I don't owe anybody who does not speak English anything. I do not own any foreigner anything. I do not owe anybody anything. So how dare you sit there with your dress, your black dress on, and your gay sash, and your other theatrical props, like your bench and the Canadian coat of arms over your head and the one flag to one side. It's all theater. It's all props. You're going to sit there with all these props and tell me that I have to be polite to these losers who have probably illegally come into the country and have been hired by institutions that should be speaking the dominant language, English or in Quebec French. I'm not hiring that. This diversity is nonsense, obviously, is a lie. It's a complete and total lie. And banks are no longer making billions of dollars per quarter anymore. And the truth is, in Canada, I hope that they all go broke. I really do. So when you hire based on skin color, you're going to lose. And the other comment I also wanted to make is that all these companies in Canada and the United States, I do not understand this. If you're running a company, you're supposed to be running it for profit. So a company, hopefully the owner does his due diligence and finds a bank where everybody speaks English. But the next thing that he should be doing is making sure that his staff speak English. And the next thing he should be doing is training his staff to understand what the business is, what the customer base is, what they're selling, how they're selling it, and how to deal with the public. But the other one is, if you're going to have a human resources manager, do you not think that your human resources manager should know what a business is? So if we're going to agree on that, I'll ask a question here. What do 21-year-old girls know about business? What do 21-year-old girls know about the experience that a guy like me would bring to the table, or Mark Savoya from last night? What would a 21-year-old know about Ed Jamasek, my partner in the show, what he knows about flying a plane, which I assure you is more than even the average pilot? Like, they don't know anything. What they'll see is a white male, and they'll say, you know, my daddy's a white male, and he yelled at me once, and he didn't show up for my dance recital, so I'm not going to hire this white male in favor of some overweight black female, or some Korean woman that doesn't speak English, or some Muslim wrapped up in a scarf, so that I can bring the maximum amount of pain to this company, so I can feel more comfortable, so I can flex my muscles. The last thing on this planet that you should ever do is have a female in charge of human resources. You need a man in charge who understands the business and who will think logically only. And then as the owner, you tell him, this is what I'm looking for. These are the qualifications I'm looking for. You make sure you present every single human being that has these qualifications. But the second someone presents themselves as stupid or unknowledgeable of the culture that we live in, dust them. Get rid of them. I don't have a headache. That's my job as the business owner, is to make sure that I've given the proper instructions to my human resources manager. So for all you human resources managers who are girls under 30, go to hell. All of you. You know nothing about the universe. You know nothing about life. You never will. You have somehow been given this position. I have no idea why. And all you're doing is abusing what little authority that you think that you have. So, business owners, take my advice, make money. Don't take my advice and lose. By all means, it's your company, do what you want. But if I'm going to spend even $1 to get a business off the ground, I assure you that everybody who's working with me and for me knows what the formula is, and they're going to adhere to it, or they go bye-bye. That's the way it has to be. How much is a house in Costa Rica? Size, how much land, what town, what village, what region, close to the beach, on the mountain, high, low, close to town, middle of nowhere. I need to know more details as to what your particular lifestyle is. If you're a beach bum, if you're a party animal. You know, like if you're a party animal, downtown San Jose. Or downtown Jaco. Party places. You want to be left alone? Uvita. You want to be around really, really rich people and make deals? Manuel Antonio. It just depends on who you are and what your lifestyle is. For your information, try to get money wired to Costa Rica for a house, and CIBC is denying the wire. Even though the funds are mine, they are judging the wire as fraud. Okay, Osra Hoffer. Go to my website. This one, KevinJJohnston.me. My name.me. Go to the contact form. If you're buying property down here, all right, let us know, and we will get that money moved. CIBC are absolutely worthless. I know. I used to be with them. They're garbage. But so are all the Canadian banks. There are 3 steps we have to go through to get that down here. And when you're a client of ours, we do all that for you, 0 charge. That's how that works. Okay, and you're hearing the buzzing that you're hearing. That's cicadas. They're everywhere, right? This is considered summer right now in Costa Rica. So when the cicadas are in bloom, God, they're loud. And when they fly around, they hit the ceiling. They will thunk the ceiling at full speed, and they don't die. For some, I watched one of them hit the ceiling for over 2 hours. Bang, boom, boom. It didn't die. It eventually dehydrated and fell out of the sky, but it didn't die with all the impacts. It was unreal. PJ Sue, Canada has 2 official languages, French and English. You better have command of one of them, spoken and written. Yeah, I agree. Because if I have to go, what? Huh? What? If I have to use Google Translate when I'm speaking English in an English-speaking country, we're not doing business. Period. And if I need to, because I'm going to get angry about that. All right? I don't get angry about much. But communication is absolutely key to me. And if you want my money, I better understand you and you better understand me. I'm the one that put the effort forward into mastering English. The least that you could do is make sure you speak it as well. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing in a job serving English people? All right. We'll put all my money in CIBC if they treat customers. Okay, so yeah, Osterhofer, get a hold of me. There's tricks to this, but you got to know them. That's all I'm saying. It's not as complicated as you think. It's just steps, and you have to follow them exactly. All right. Just going through your comments here. Let's see. This one, you're after my own heart there, sweetheart. So conservative queen. As a woman, I 100% agree. There you go. By the way, I know that I'm going to get accused of being a misogynist. I love women. You guys know that. I'm a healthy heterosexual male who's got good sperm because I didn't get those stupid needles. I love you ladies. But we all just have to be a bit more realistic about who and what we are. Now, let's not think that we're that much better than the rest of the animal kingdom. We're really not. Human beings are mammals. Most are animals. And the rest of us who are not animalistic in our behavior still come with a boatload of problems. The idea is in life, you know that people are going to come with problems. Don't take their problems on. It's not your job. Unless, of course, you are paid by that person to be their counselor, in which case, sure, it's your problem for that hour that they happen to be there. But don't take that stuff on. I wouldn't hire someone because I felt sorry for them. The only time that somebody gets a sympathy effort from me is when we're talking about kids. You know, kids. It's the type of thing where we used to play a lot of ball hockey in my neighborhood. Like when I grew up in my neighborhood, ball hockey was the thing. And all the kids wanted to come by and play. And, you know, sometimes we'd have to say, look, guys, there's body checking in this one. Sorry, you little guys can't play. But then once in a while, it wasn't really a serious game that we were having outside. So I'd let the kids play in there. And I'd take the small ones on my team and the bigger ones would go on the other guy's team. And, you know, you feel a bit bad because they can't play. They suck, but you want to pass them the ball and give them a shot or two. You know, and I coached lacrosse and hockey for years. So yes, you want to get them that good feeling when they score a goal on you. And in lacrosse, I ran a developmental league for a couple of years for kids under the age of 10. And the little guys, the 6-year-olds, you know, I'd put all the gear on, the helmet, the whole bit, and, you know, I'd be all set to go. And, you know, I'd make a couple of saves and make sure the ball would bounce off me and they'd pick it up and let them score on the third shot. You know, that's the only time that any human being gets sympathy from me is when they're kids and they feel a bit left out. But beyond that, once you're 12 years old, like, that's it, man. Grow up. There's no sympathy. I'll help you, but I won't sympathize. That's how that works. All right. Yeah, Hako, Krager, great surfing in Hako. The waves come in 6 feet tall all day, all night. They do not stop. How much is acreage down there? Again, everybody, Costa Rica is the same as every other country in the world. Close to the beach, not close to the beach, high in the mountains, in civilization, away from it. Electricity, no electricity. I need to know more about what you expect out of any land that you're wanting to buy. Okay. Best place to be a merchant or arty markets? I'm not following that comment, Janice. If you want to clear that up for me, please, I'll certainly address it. Okay. And there we go. All right, so time we got. Let me just check the time. All right, I got to go in 5 minutes here because I'm getting ready for tonight's show, which is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And tonight we're going to be talking about electric cars. But we're also going to have a lady on who's currently hiding from the Canadian government because the Canadian government is trying to steal her kids and put them in with a group of pedophiles. That being the Children's Aid Society. I despise those creatures. They're not even humans as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely not. Okay. Oh, lots of markets for shopping. Oh, yeah. Every town's got markets. I mean, the capital, San Jose, they are everywhere. Like every corner is something to buy. In San Isidro, same thing. San Isidro, they don't speak English, so take your Google Translate with you. But on the West Coast, most people speak English, or at least broken English, and the markets are absolutely everywhere. There's markets everywhere. You just have to know which ones are ripoffs and which ones are pretty good. That's it. Same as anywhere else. Are there poisonous snakes and animals? P. Vinny, first off, I got to correct you on just one thing. Snakes are not poisonous. Snakes are venomous. There's a huge difference between the two. Poison, you have to drink it. It has to go through your digestive tract for it to be effective. Venom, you can drink venom. It's not going to do anything to you except give you diarrhea. Venom has to go into the bloodstream so that it can kill red blood cells. That's how venom works. And yes, there are pit vipers, eyelash vipers, and the fer de lance. Now, the fer de lance is the most feared of all the snakes in the world because it's got a rotten disposition. And the baby snakes can stand up on just the last 3 inches of their body. And they have more venom because they can't actually control the venom that they inject. If you get bit by a venomous reptile here, which you can avoid by just staying out of the brush, then your goal is to grab the snake, break its neck, pull it off of you, keep it. You got to keep it. You got to show the hospital what bit you, so they give you the correct antivenom. There are scorpions and tarantulas. Tarantulas they'll give you diarrhea if you're allergic to them, but they won't kill you.
Have you seen any?
I have only seen grass snakes and iguanas and basilisks so far, because most reptiles are chickens. They see movement, they're gone. They're gone. Oh yeah, PJ Sue, my show is, I'm on Rumble. If you just type in freedomreport.ca, that'll take you to my Rumble channel, and that's where the show is live. Tuesday, Thursday is a political show. Wednesday nights is the real estate show. So 3 nights in a row at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Rumble. Just type in freedomreport.ca. It'll take you to my Rumble channel. Sign up for an account. It's free. And join the chat. The chat rooms have been really busy lately. So Janice, you're saying you want to sell. What would you like to sell, Janice? Go to my personal website. There's my name. All right. KevinJJohnston.me. And use the contact form. Send me your details, please. All right. I see a lot of people waving. Hello to everyone for being here. Certainly do appreciate that. And Lucky Giggles, I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. But you're in the last couple of minutes here. So what I'll do, you can see like I'm just pouring sweat here. Oh, it's a warm night. Hospitals. All right, so when you're en route to becoming a resident here and you're paying into the policy like $45 a month US, you can go to any hospital or any clinic anywhere in the country and you'll be taken care of. It is socialized medicine. It is. But you've also got two-tier medicine. You have the option to go to an American private hospital if you wish, and the healthcare here is good. It's very good. The dentistry here is very good. All right, so you need not worry about this being a third world country with medicine. It's really not. Brazil, Argentina, Costa Rica, and Chile are all between 15 and 20 years ahead of Canada for most things. Surgery, like plastic surgery especially, you want that here. Don't get it done in Canada. Oh yeah, I don't know why. Guys, I can't correct that backwards nonsense on Instagram. I don't get it. It's a nuisance. If anyone knows how to reverse this on Instagram, let me know. Because yeah, it is backwards. And this is not my good side. I'm kind of backwards. Kristen Nagel just posted about the healthcare in Costa Rica too. Yeah, she's in Nicaragua. And I think she's coming to Costa Rica next week, so I can't wait to say hello and have a cup of coffee with her. Kristen is awesome, brilliant woman, brave as hell. And she's one of the people like myself, Pastor Artur Pawlowski and Pat King and Chris Sky, part of the teams out there that got our rights back, getting rid of those stupid masks. Hey. Costa Rica is blowing. Oh yeah, Ed Jamasek. How can we forget Big Ed? Costa Rica is blowing up. Been here 15 years and all the Canadians are coming. Yeah, the Canadians are coming because the Canadians are fed up with the police state in Canada, the violence in Canada, the taxes, the left wing runs everything, the perversion. Now they're killing kids in the hospitals with that MAIDS program. And then, 2 days ago, that guy that was on our show, who's a truck driver, some loser RCMP officer, loser, Royal Canadian Mounted Porkhead officer, loser cop, tells the guy, go left. So he just moves a bit left with his truck, and the tire crushes a cone. And they arrest him for that, saying, oh, he tried to run me over. And this loser cop goes up on the stand and says that he has nightmares at night and PTSD, and his relationship with his wife never been the same. I joked a couple of nights ago that his wife must have been the cone that was run over. It's like no woman would ever be around a man that weak. So if the guy really is that much of a loser, I say go to the hospital and tell them that you're a loser and get MAIDS. They'll inject you and they'll harvest your organs and sell them off to someone else. But the gentleman that accidentally ran over a cone at 5 kilometers an hour got a 10-month jail sentence for it.
Sorry.
Yeah, James Sowery. That's his name. James Sowery. So there we go. Oh, Pravini, if I turn the camera around, then I'm looking at the back of the phone and I can't see your comments. So here we are. I have to get a banner made that's backwards. specifically to be live like this. So I'm just saying, everyone, we're all fed up. We're fed up. And the police, when they behave like this, do you know what they're actually doing? They're inviting those who want to fight to fight. That's what they're doing. When you are that much of a wimp and a coward that you're willing to go on the stand and cry about the fact that someone ran over a traffic cone and that you're saying you can't sleep at night because of it, someone's going to kick your ass, man. Like, someone's going to see you and say, hey, that's the guy that cries about the cone. And they're going to go over and kick your ass. And you'll deserve it. All right? You can never show that level of weakness, ever. And I'm willing to bet that this guy was a paid actor. You know, they probably gave him a bonus. Go on the stand, cry your eyes out. Like, we're RCMP. We're all losers, but we want you to look like a bigger loser than the rest of us, so we'll pay you some bonus money if you cry on the stand. Like, the whole thing was a setup. I'm pretty sure that in advance, the judge also knew that he was already going to convict this guy. Like, the whole thing is a sham. The entire justice system in Canada, it's not a justice system. It's just a corporation. They call it a legal system. It's a corporation that's designed to steal money from all of us and scare all of us into submission. But what if all you electricians out there decide to shut all the power off in these places? You can do it. I think you should. Yeah, just a suggestion. If the courthouses are closed down, for once, we the people who actually pay for those things to be there will be left alone for a while. All right, that's what we got to do. We got to shut these institutions down. Just kill the power, and they can't open the place up. All right, because all the jail cells in the basement, they're all run on electricity. So if you kill the power, like destroy all the power to the building at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're not going to be able to put anybody inside those jails. And ergo, the place will not be able to be used. And they get a day behind. But you see in the courts, if they get even 1 day behind, that's like getting a week behind in the courts. Because they're all scrambled and shuffling all the time. They're all losers. And all of us have to stop paying our taxes and stop paying into this notion. Like, stop believing for a second that the police are on our side. They are not. Stop thinking for a second that the courts are going to keep us safe. They are just taking money from us. Oh, Kristen Nagel arrived in Costa Rica today. Good. So I'm going to give her a call. Do you have to come back to Canada for passport reasons, or are you now a citizen? No, I'm not a citizen of Costa Rica, but I will be a resident, I'm sure, within the next 6 to 15 months. To get a Canadian passport, I just have to go to the embassy and say, hey, what's up? I lost it. Or I can hire an agent to just apply for a replacement for me in Canada. Okay. No, Tislin, Kristen Nagel, she was in Nicaragua. Her destination was going to be here in Costa Rica. 30,000 people in my town have no DR? No driver's license? Is that no? I'm not sure what that means. Okay. Yeah, Havoc Hero. Maids for all the RCMP I know, because like they've got such a tough job. They put on body armor and guns, and they go drive around and they kidnap children off of native reserves, and they find children everywhere who are orphans, and they drive them to Dawson Creek, British Columbia, and then they drive them all the way out to Prince Rupert and put them on ships to become sex slaves in China. Yeah, I want maids for the entire police force. That's all that the RCMP are. Thieves, liars, murderers, and kidnappers. That's all they are. They serve zero purpose to we the people. Got to get rid of them. Whole force has to go. Okay. Can you get me a job somewhere to park my bus and live out there? Angus Beef. I've seen you before. Do you drive the big bubble bus? Is that you, buddy? You can drive your vehicle here, but it's going to be subject to taxes unless you're just staying temporarily with that vehicle. It was suggested to me, I have to look into this, I don't have the answer yet, but if you drove it from Canada here, that you'd just be able to leave the Canadian plate on so long as your passport is stamped to the time that plate is still here. Make sure the bus has AC, man. You don't want to be in a bus that does not have AC in Costa Rica. I'm just checking out your comments. I unknowingly worked for a corrupt cop, Danny Barga. I don't know who that is, but if you've got stories, let us know. Electricians wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know. I think they would. You got to remember that even though everything's run by computers, everybody, there's still like cables and wires and switches and kill switches and transformers that are all physical embodiments, like physical structures that could all be taken down. Look, it was told to me, I don't know if this is true or not. I haven't tried, and I'm not in Canada anymore, so I can't try. And I can't tell you to do it because that would be solicitation of a crime. But I'm just saying that all those large power towers that you see in Canada, where you've got like 30 cables that stretch, and you've got those X's in between the cables to keep them apart. Apparently, those cables are exposed. They're not covered in rubber coating. Yeah, apparently. And that if you took two drones and had a piece of cable, they'd have to be strong drones, and you drop the cable between two of these wires, you'd short circuit the entire system and knock everything out for about 10-15 minutes. Interesting. I don't know if it's true, but it was told to me by an electrician who said that is the surefire way to kill all the power before it even gets to the transformer. Okay. Hold on that. How do you get residency here in Costa Rica? Stick around for 6 months and apply. That's it. Apply. And then follow the rules. It's going to cost you about $45 a month once your application goes in. And your application is probably going to be okay, unless you've got something serious on your criminal record, like DUI, murder, I'd say attempted murder. But it has to be convictions, not just arrests. Oh, 30,000 without a family doctor. Oh, yeah, there's probably the better part of half the population in Canada now doesn't have a family doctor. There's just no way to get them anymore. And if you do get one, remember what we said earlier in the show? They don't speak English. There's a doctor from West Vancouver who moved to Costa Rica too, does podcasts. PJ Sue, get me his name. Probably even know him. Krista... Okay. Chris Verboada. I can't pronounce your name, but you're ready to leave Canada? Go. Get out. It sucks. Yeah, it used to be amazing. I had a great time growing up there as a kid. Now, I wouldn't give you $5 for it. Oh, Jim Kerr drives the bubble bus. Yeah. I don't think he has AC in his bus. All right. Just checking your comments here, folks.
Actually, I invited Chris and Jim and Andre to come down.
Oh, the doctor's a woman? Okay, very good. I don't care. She's allowed to be on the show. I'll talk to her. So long as she's not under the age of 30 and a human resources manager, everything's going to be fine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. I got to get my show going here. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 6 p.m. Pacific Time. freedomreport.ca. We are doing the show there. All right, and anybody who wants any information on moving, just here, my name, KevinJJohnston.me. Hit me on the contact form. I'll get back to you and I'll tell you everything that you need to know. NBSC tells me I look great. Well, thank you. And you know, I've been here, this is my 9th week here. I feel great. Better food, like all around, just better diet all around, better coffee here, obviously better weather. There's good people here. No one's giving me a difficult time. There's no stress here. I mean, the only stress that I have is the stress that I put on myself. I do work between 8 and 14 hours a day because I'm not here to date. I'm not here to party on the beach. I'm here to work. Like, that's what I am here to do. So I'm going to keep working, and I guess about a year from now, it'll all pay off.
Coffee maker's stressing you out.
Yeah, the coffee maker pisses me off because it doesn't work properly. That's a little bit of stress. If I can't have coffee in the morning, that's stress. Don't get in my way. When I'm heading towards the coffee maker, any ladies that ever stay over, get out of my way. All right? After I'm sipping, I put the third sip, I'm a human being again, then you can get in my way. It's no problem. None whatsoever. All right. West Coaster, yeah, you know what? I'm healthier. I'm absolutely healthier here. As I mentioned, food, weather, temperature, people, lack of stress. You know, like when I was still in Calgary, the cops were following me all over the place. You know, they'd ring the doorbell, knock on the door, park on the street just so that I would know that they were there. Now, one of them followed me. I was in my car at the time. Actually, it wasn't even my car. It was a borrowed car. They just happened to know which borrowed car I was driving. And I went to the drive-thru at McDonald's. They go to the drive-thru. I make a bunch of right turns to go down some back alleys. They do that. And I made a whole bunch of dipsy doodles through town, got on the highway, and they followed me all the way to the city limit. I didn't even have to get on the highway. I just wanted to get rid of them. So I don't have to put up with that immaturity anymore. Cops here, they don't know who I am, and they don't care. And if they did know who I was, they still wouldn't care. Why would they? How is the coffee in Costa Rica? It grows here. It grows here, and they know how to pick it, and they know how to roast it. That's exactly what they do. They know exactly how to roast it. And that big thing that flew over my head there, that was a locust, which is now dead because Ed's dog is eating it.
No, the dog's way
So, there you go.
Get it, Bubba, get it.
Locusts are about that big. They're about 6 inches long. Yeah, you don't. They're harmless unless they are a swarm.
Yeah.
There you go. No chemtrails here. Yes, I'm having the last laugh. Yes, I'm having a good time. Got to go. 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is, I guess, like what time? That's an hour and 10 minutes from now on freedomreport.ca. Thanks, guys. Love you. See you soon.